Hi, everybody. It's Leslie, and it's been a while, years since I've done a Let's Write video. But I got an email request from Ken, who's in the Philippines, and he asked if I could do a video. This is actually part of the message he sent. He asked if I could do a video on showing, not telling. And so what he's asking is that I'll show the tell part and then show the show part. and by actually doing the showing. And I have something prepared. We'll see how it works out. I'm not sure how good the actual writing is going to be. I don't know, but when I, actually write in front of you, but we'll see. So, if you have more requests or anything you'd like me to do, then you can send them to this email, which is leslie@lesliequickless.com, and I will do what I can to accommodate you. My time to actually do videos right now is limited, pretty limited, but I'll still try to do what I can. So let's go ahead and get on to this video, and we will go from there. So a couple notes, actually just one note. You'll hear the clicking keys, especially when I start typing. So just be aware that you will hear the clicking keys because I have to in order to type. And then, so first things first, what does show, don't tell mean? So let's talk first about what telling is, and then let's talk about what showing is in my own words, and we'll look at some examples. One short example and then one longer example. All right. So telling to me is when you talk at the audience via summary or big blocks of exposition. So you may see this in literary fiction where it'll be like a page-long description of what a room looks like, or what something looks like, or what someone has done, right? So that's what telling is. And the thing is that telling is not necessarily a bad thing. You'll see in one of the examples I'm going to do of showing and not telling, where it's mostly showing and there is some telling. To me, it's just if you can tell well, and if you do more showing than telling. But telling in and of itself is not bad to me. It's good to know how to do both showing and telling to me. Showing is letting the character's actions and dialogue do the work of revealing who they are. So questions like, I ask things like, what is your body doing? To how is your body reacting? My heart did this. So, because that's an action. So the characters may do something, their bodies may do something. The characters, and I'll say, and characters, bodies, actions, and their dialogue do the work of kind of telling you who they are, what they're about, right? And so I say that sometimes when I'm teaching writing. I'll say, well, tell me what your body's doing. Tell me what your character's body's doing, that kind of thing. All right, so here's an example of tell. I pulled this off readsy.com. And her tell example was, Michael was terribly afraid of the dark. She's telling you this is how Michael is feeling. And a lot of times someone's telling when they use adjectives. So Michael was afraid, right? Even terribly afraid, right? Of the dark. And so instead of telling us Michael was afraid, how can we show it without using the word afraid? That's how I think of telling versus showing. And here's the show example. As his mother switched off the light, switching left the room, Michael tensed. He huddled under the covers. So here are the actions he takes, right? He huddled under the covers, gripped the sheets, and held his breath as the wind brushed past the curtain. So notice there are a lot of verbs here instead of this adjective. Now notice even Michael tensed. We could say what his body did. So we could say instead something like Michael's shoulders clenched. I don't know, something like that. So we see this is what his body does, and then this is what he does. He huddles under the covers, he grips the sheets. So we can see action steps being taken, right? But we can't really see what it means to be afraid. So when you think of showing, you want to show actions. What's the body doing? And then what is the character doing, right? And then you may have some dialogue as well, but in this case, we don't have dialogue. So what I have now is my tell example. I'm going to do a more extended, because I write in fiction, creative nonfiction. I want to show you what showing versus telling may look like in like a longer form, something beyond a sentence. And so what I have coming up is telling, and it is deliberately, the telling is a little bit supposed to sound a little bit simplified, oversimplified. That's on purpose because I'm going to show you the show version after that, which is more developed. And actually, the showing that I'm going to show is a lot more developed. And what I did was I pulled the show part from a piece that I'm working on now, and I've gone over that section a few times. And then, so I just wanted you to have a contrast of telling versus showing. So you can pause the video as necessary to read all of what I have. Okay, so here's my tell. Okay, so that's the telling, and now let's get to the showing. And the showing is an actual scene. So let's take a look at what that looks like. And it's a couple pages long, so I'll pause it. Okay, so I'm gonna go up here. Just remember, if you need to pause it, just pause it. All right, and so this is the thing. So notice that there is, when you show versus tell, a lot of times it takes more time. Even with this short example, Michael was afraid, right? Now, you see how much more time it takes to actually show what's going on? So you'll notice this is like a 1-to-3 ratio here, about how many words you're using and all that. Maybe 1-to-4, maybe it's 4 times as long to show versus tell. Sometimes you notice this is one paragraph here, and notice when I actually get into it, it's like 2 to 3 pages long to actually do it. And of course you could shorten it or whatever. And I should mention that the character, she appears at Me. Me is her name is Liv, short for Olivia, and she just found out that her longtime boyfriend looks like he's in another situation. That's why she says mind her own goddamn fucking engaged business. And clearly, I like curse words on characters. So I mean, it depends on who's doing it and everything, if it fits. But so yeah, but this hopefully gives you an example of what it looks like to show versus tell. And here, though, is where I feel like I am telling. I am telling in this paragraph here, because I am basically just telling you who Kelly is. I'm describing her. And a lot of time, like, telling, to me, I like this telling because I feel like I'm painting a vivid picture and it's serving a bigger purpose, and I'm going back to the dialogue. It's not just telling and I'm leaving it. To me, telling serves showing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think you take little breaks to tell, to kind of speed things up a little bit, because to tell all this in dialogue just wouldn't make sense. To say, to describe what Kelly looks like, to kind of like give you a snap, to further the snapshot I want to paint of Kelly, it's just easier to tell. But what I want to do is make it vivid. So I try to use, vivid words. So expert poker player, born hustler, Jessica Rabbit, face of an angel, and, and this, house slave mentality stereotypes, video vixen, drug kingpin, politician, cunning, so, and even, you can't be mad at her. She, like kind of using long sentences versus short sentences. And though it's also just one paragraph, it's a long paragraph, it is one paragraph. And people can deal with telling if it is within showing. You notice how much all this is showing, right? A lot of times, and you got to make the dialogue work. So notice, you see how we see kind of how Kelly thinks, right? Where she says, thanks so much for coming by. And then she's like, I am not trying to be on anything. So we see she wants to present a separate persona to people around her, and she lets her sister Liv see who she really is, that kind of thing. Also, I'm trying to show that they're close without making them, kind of cozy. So, just the way they kind of talk to each other, the way she takes the drink from her and then Liv takes it back at the end and tells her to fuck off. And it's kind of like you can see their closeness by how they interact with each other. Okay, so that to me is, and again, this is for me a polished scene. I've gone over this a few times, to say the least. But hopefully this is giving you a sense of, like the difference between what it looks like to show something versus what it looks like to tell something. And keep in mind, it's not a rule like, if you show, it's automatically going to be longer than if you tell, but typically it should take a little bit longer because you're painting a picture as opposed to just taking a picture. Like, does that make sense? I hope so. If it doesn't, leave a comment and I'll reply to it. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is do a little bit of writing with you, in front of you. Again, I'm not sure how this is going to go down, but I'm going to try. My first drafts always suck. And this is not going to be polished at all. But anyway, so here's the premise of the thing. All right. So take a look at this. So this is the premise of the scene that I'm going to write. And then this is what needs to happen in the scene. And this is what helps me, I like knowing what do I have to get out of the scene before I actually start it. Okay. So they need to end at this time. And I want it to be sweet. I want it to feel kind of sweet. I want people to like Justin, even though he's kind of, been an asshole to me by kind of springing on her. He's with someone else in a very serious way. I want people to see Liv growing up a little bit because she's been an asshole to him too, by showing out. That's her way. She acts out with him. And I want it to feel heartbreaking. They should be crying a little bit. I should feel sad writing it. I should tear up writing it. And it might not get there. I probably will not get there the first time that I write it. It's probably going to take me 3 or 4 times, like going over it, to be like, where I'm like, oof, this hurts. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So here's the telling version of it. And then I put dialogue, I put action in here in this telling version to show you that even though it has to be dialogue that works. It has to be actions that work towards something, right? This is what has to be worked towards. But this is what has to happen, is that they need to end, right? This is like the main thing that I'm working towards. So I want to see if I can create a new document and shorten this, like bring this over here. And actually, before I do that, let's make this, because I want to make sure I have to stay focused when I write this. So let's move this over here like so. And so this is what has to happen, is that they have to end. And then Liv is got to be willing to taking the pain of moving on. So at the end of the scene, it needs to feel like these people have really broken up. There's a real end here. And the reason why it has to feel like it ends is for the story to keep going. But I know that that's the point of this scene, is that. So just make sure you know the point of your scene before you write it. Like, how is your story moving forward? And that will also help you with showing versus telling. If you don't really know what you want to get out of a scene, then you're going to have a hard time making sure that you're showing versus telling. So here's the telling version of it. Let's take a look at that. Things are hurting my ears. Let me take my, let me see if that helps. All right, so I haven't written this yet. And to me, let me show you where I feel like I'm telling, even though there's dialogue and action happening. So the reason why I'm bringing up the Flatiron thing is that Liv has to go to Kelly's house. I had to have a reason for her to go to Kelly's house, because the next scene is going to happen at Kelly's house, and there's something important that happens there. So, but I also want to show, kind of their relationship, but it's not really telling me anything. Fine, thanks. Like, that's kind of boring dialogue. It's not really telling me anything about the people. I'm shocked to see it's Justin. He looks just as shocked, like there's nothing wrong with adjectives, but it's just, yeah, like after a while, I'm using shocked 2 times in 2 sentences in a row. Which, it depends on how it's being used, but here I need to do more than that. That's telling, and now I want to show. I'm wondering why he'd ask me that. Like, it's not really moved. Justin looks surprised. I'm nervous. I can tell he is too. I want to ask him this, but he brings it up. Like, this is telling stuff. Oh, I say, trying to sound casual. I see tears in his eyes, and then I'm tearing up too. I want to see if there's a better way, if I can do this. Let's see. This is not bad. My eyes fall on the wedding band on his left hand, but I don't really explain why that matters to her. Of course, I think it's kind of obvious because she's remembering he's not hers anymore. And I kind of like this. Thank you, which hurts because thank you isn't I love you. I feel like that's decent. Justin steps towards me and hugs me tight. That's what he says to her. Hearing this makes me sadder. I might not change this, but we'll see. So goodbye, Justin. And then I walk away determined not to look back, and I don't. So this feels kind of final. They need to end. She's willing to take the pain of moving on, but I want to see if I can do it better by focusing more on showing instead of telling. So let's see if I can pull it off. I'm really not sure tonight because I'm rather sleepy, y'all. But let's see what we can do. what I can do. All right. So let's see. When my phone pings in my purse. All right. So I'm gonna kind of like write underneath it, and yeah, let's see. My phone pings, and again, I consider myself a rewriter, not a writer, because first drafts to me are just like, let's just do this. Although sometimes it's fun, but I like to rewrite more than write. Okay, the phone pings in my purse. Let's see. I know without looking at it that it's Kelly. Inwardly. And all I'm looking for is to do this a little bit better than what I had. I'm not putting pressure on myself to come up with a masterpiece in the first, kind of real draft of what I want to say. Don't put pressure on yourself to do that. Just get it on paper. Even if most of what you're doing is telling it first, go back and rewrite it. You can't, or at least for me, I cannot write exactly what a lot of times it looks pretty different after I rewrite it a few times. So just a note about that. Inwardly, I groan. I know without looking at it that it's Kelly. Again. Let's see. I wouldn't stop to answer her, but I know she won't quit texting me until I do. Kelly, are you bringing the flat iron? Let's see. No, bitch. I don't know if I'll actually use this, but maybe so. I say to my phone, but I already know that despite the traffic and the inconvenience, that I'll do this for my sister. Let's see. Oh. And let's see. And I think that shows irritation. If you call somebody a bitch, call your sister a bitch. But they have that kind of relationship where they'll talk about each other like that. But let's see. And again, I can always just go back and correct it. What I'm doing really is just getting it down on paper, so to speak. Let's see. Do this for my sister. That I'll be headed to far as fuck Alpharetta later this afternoon. Know that Kelly's pit bull tenacity, and then desperation, then bride to be desperation will set in, and I'll have 20 back-to-back calls this evening from her. So despite the traffic and the inconvenience, I also already know that I'll be headed to far as fuck Alpharetta later this afternoon. Fine. I reply, let's see. So it's a little bit better. And then Kelly, what time? Really kills. I say to the phone. Such an appreciation. Let's see. My irritation at her. My irritation only amplifies when someone bumps hard into me, almost knocking my phone out of my hand. Watch. Where you're going. I say, whirling around, and see, and I gasp. Did I conjure him out of thin air? Had I thought about him so much that he's literally appeared? Something like that. Says Justin. He looks just as shocked as I must. I'm not sure if you put the word look on the internet. I don't know. So it's okay to do a little telling. See, just to say he looks just as shocked. I don't have to. Everything doesn't have to be complete showing. You know, especially at first, you're just trying to get it down. I just wanted to be a little bit better than what I had before. So, Liv says Justin. He looks just as shocked. How about this? Instead of saying that, his open mouth. And a lot of times, once you write something down badly, you can see how you can improve it a little bit. Mouth mirrors mine. I clap mine shut. Ooh. Here's mine. Ooh. What are you? I'm here for a case. I blurt. Pro bono. Pro bono. Oh. He's in jail. I don't think I'll win, but can't tell him that I babble. And what the fuck am I talking about? I'm talking about Justin nods and nods like I'm, Moses Not like he's Moses receiving the 10 Commandments. The 10 Commandments. Like there's nothing more fascinating. Fascinating than what I'm saying, than the words. Spilling. Like, spilling like, what I'm trying to say is something's too full, like an overflowing tub. Like an overflowing tub. I don't think that's a great one right now, but we'll just leave it for now, out of my mouth. Go back and fix it later. You got to be willing to write badly if you want to get your work done, y'all. So just fucking let it be bad. Let's see. So what I'm trying to show here is that, let's see. I want to show here that she's really nervous, and that's why she's just kind of like talking, and he's kind of nervous too. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to show, and I hope that that's working. But always I'm trying to remember, where am I going? That they need to end. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that they need to end, and she has to, in the end, show like, you know, she's a little bit stronger. So that's what I'm trying to get to. So let's just keep going. He's in jail, pro bono. So what I'm trying to show is, this is what she's thinking about. Have you read my email? Let's see. Let's see. Fascinating. We're spilling like a flowing tub out of my mouth. Let's see. What do I want to say now? Pro bono. Just in peace. That's great, Liv. That's great, Liv. This time, I nod. And then I want to say, now we're about here where I got your email. And again, I know I have to keep saying this because I have to say it to myself. Just keep going, even though everything is telling me, this sucks. This is not what I want to write. I want to be better than this. I'm not. Most writers are not. Those who can write their first draft and have it come out how they want it to come out, I hate them. I hate those writers because I'm jealous of them. But the good news is that there aren't that many of them. Most people, you know, this is pretty typical. So just keep going. All right. What am I trying to say next? That's great. This time I'm not. I want to get to what this is about. So I want to say, I nod. This time I nod. I nod and nod. And I want to show that it's busy, and it's like we're in the eye of a hurricane with everything moving so fast, fast around us, and within the circle that is us, is utter stillness. No time, no sound, just us. So I don't know how good that is, but let's keep going. And everything moves on this. There's no time, no sound, just us. And I know that I love him, all that I am. And he is so beautiful in his tailored suit. His hair, I'm kind of seeing it that's why if I look a little sad, is because I'm seeing it and I'm like, oh, you know, for her. And his tailored suit, his edges sharp. No razor bumps anywhere. I mentioned something about that earlier in the manuscripts. Anywhere in sight. My stomach twists. And I know that I love him with all that I am. Justin, I whisper. Let's see. I want to come back and say with everything moving so fast around us, bodies going into courtrooms, lives being forever altered in those courtrooms, something like that. But they're outside, they're like in the big lobby where, you know, a lot of courtrooms are, or whatever. And that's what I imagine. Lives being forever altered in people's lives. I don't know, before I remember calling. So much motion. So many thoughts. But within the circle that is us, utter stillness. No time, no sound. Just us. And he is so beautiful. Stomach twist. I want to touch his edges so much. It used to be my thing. My stomach twist. And I know I love with all that I am. Justin, I whisper. Let's see what happens next. And this is the thing I do, is when I really get stuck, to keep myself moving, I ask myself this question, and then what happens? Because it's just the very next thing that happens, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Just something else has to happen next, right? So, and I know what happens. She knows she loves him, all that she is. Justin, I whisper. And then she notices, and then she remembers the ring. And then my eyes fall lower to his hand, to his ring finger, to the gold band that now adorns it. My stomach lurches. All right, so, and then what happens after that? I'm gonna say, and before I get sick, I open my mouth to ask what has to be asked. I got your email. Justin says, as if he's reading my mind. And then what happens? She says, oh, I say, my mind momentarily hijacked because I'm able, because instead of grabbing him by the lapels and shaking him and demanding to know what he thought of my words, I'm able to sound casual. I'm able to sound casual. Almost like I don't even care. Almost like this isn't the most important and painful moment of my life, my adult life. My adult life. I don't know. Go back, change it later. It's not that great. But I say, great. I add, yeah, says Justin. And then what happens? I'm trying to see how they're looking at each other. He clears his throat. His eyes sliding past me for a moment to nod at another attorney he knows. And then sliding past me, and then sliding past me, and then back on me. I'll say that I settle back, but we'll see. We'll fix that later. And then back on me. Then what else? Then what happens next? I want to say, let's see. I'm going to say thank you. Thank you, Liv. Thank you. Seriously. Seriously. Why didn't you reply? Why didn't you reply? Justin, I asked. Justin opens his mouth, but no sound comes out. He coughs. Instead, let's see. He coughs. No sound comes out. I want to say he's getting emotional in some way. And remember, I have to get to their ending. Their ending. I didn't even reply, Justin. And then he shrugs. Then what happens next? And then what happens? I want to say he's tearing up in some way. So then he shrugs. I wanted. Let's see. His voice catches. And then right there in the middle of I want to go back up here. I don't know, the courthouse, with everything moves so fast. With bodies going into courtrooms, with people's lives being averted, so much motion, so many thoughts. Justin's eyes fill. His voice strangled. And it might be a little overboard because he is married. He did choose somebody else, but this is what I see is that they were in a long relationship. And just so you know, this is not based on personal experience. Like I just am very sympathetic to them. Because I can imagine how painful this is, and I want them both. I want the reader to feel sympathy for both of them. Feel strangled. Just want you to know that I caused. Let's see. What happens next? Maybe you shouldn't cough. No. He stops. And it's just us. And I reach up and touch his, I don't want to say hairline edges, touch his right temple. Your barber missed the spot. Spot here. Say softly. Friends, ruefully. His face reddening. Touch. It's just us. I know. I'm glad you're happy. Pull back my hand. Well, I'm glad you got the email. Pull back my hand. Hold on. I want to slow that down a little bit to show, because I want to get to this part where she's finally willing to take the pain of moving on. Pull back my hand. Take a step back. Let's see. Breathe deep. Let's see. Let's see. Take a step back, breathe deep. And then what happens? Well, let's see. And my voice, and amazingly, my voice is steady. I want to come back to this, take a step back, because I'm trying to show like she's kind of like, retreating, but kind of gathering herself in a way. I don't think that's coming across well, but I don't know. We'll just see. Well, I say, and amazingly, my voice is steady. I take another step back. Step back. Thank you for reading it, Justin. I hope you'll be here my own voice catches, but I make myself keep going. I hope you'll be happy. Justin Brand. No, I already said that. Justin inclines his head. Do you really? Yeah. Well, after you die in a fire. Fire. Maybe. Justin burst out laughing. And it's like seeing him laugh for the very first time all of those years ago at our law school orientation. And I do too. And we're back at our law school orientation, and we're going to be best friends and don't even know it yet. And we're going to be lovers after that and don't even know it. Definitely don't know that yet. And his haircut is jacked. And I just told him his haircut is fucked. And we're gonna be best friends and all that, and we're gonna be lovers after that. And I'm saying after that, we're gonna be lovers. And definitely don't know that. And we'll have a wondrous, terrible, wondrous, horrible, Amazing. I'm trying to think how to put this better, but I can't do it yet. Amazing relationship that will end here in this moment. Something like that. Like I know where I'm trying to go, but you know, you can't get it all in the first go round, and that's okay. Let's see. Let's just keep going. Don't know that yet. Oh, I have a terrible say 7-year relationship that will end here in this moment. Dying fire, maybe. Love you, live. Smiles at me. I smile back. Take another. Despite trying to see what her body's doing. My heart squeezes. But I smile back. I know. I say, I take another step away from him. Toward an uncertain future. I don't know if that works. Probably not. And then what happens? But hopefully I'm showing though that she's finally willing to take the pain of moving on. Let's see. I did kind of like this line here. Remember, you can always copy and paste, find stuff, keep all your stuff that you write. You can go back and put it in later. Some reason hearing this from him makes me even sadder. My heart squeezes, but I smile back. I know, I say. Take another step back from him, towards a future without him. Towards a future without him that I don't want. That I don't want. But I'm going anyway. Goodbye, Justin, I say. And because I can't bear to look at him any longer, I don't wait for his reply before I turn on my heel and stride out of the courthouse. And no one but me. Nah, I was gonna say no one but me knows what kind of pain I'm in, whatever. Tried out of the courthouse. I'm walking fast. Let's see. I want to say she's crying, but I'm walking fast, and then I'm running. I don't know how I'm moving because my heart is back. It's back with the man I love and always will love. But somehow I'm doing it. Somehow I'm doing it. Something like this. So, I went in. So it does feel kind of like there's some finality, and I do feel like I'm showing that she's finally willing to take the pain of moving on. But it does. I hope it does show that it's very hard for her to leave. I'm doing it. Let's see. I'm walking fast. Trying to outrun the tears that threaten finally to fall. And then I'm running, but the tears are coming faster. And I'm doing like this sentence with all the ands and stuff to kind of like show like I'm trying to, like establish a kind of mood of sorts where it's kind of like, and then, kind of like that kind of feel. So, and then I'm running with the tears are coming faster. I don't know how I'm moving because my heart is fast. But somehow I'm doing it. I'm leaving behind my heart. Behind my heart. And I'm gasping for air through the sudden sobs that overtake me. That overtake me. Behind my heart. And I push through the courthouse double doors, and I'm gasping for air through the gasping for air in the sharp sunlight that pricks my eyes. Oh man, no, that's good. As the sobs overtake me. You okay, miss? You okay, ma'am? I don't know if I capitalized ma'am or not. An officer asks, police officer asks. I want to go back to something I said up here to where it says, I want to do a little bit of thing. We'll see if it works. I don't know. But at least I have a draft. I have something done. That's better than not having anything done. My hand clutching my chest. the spot where my heart used to be. I don't know. I don't. We'll see if I, what I do with that. Hmm. 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 Almost there, Leslie. Almost there. You okay, ma'am? And then what happens? Somehow I nod. Because underneath my hand, I can feel my heart beating. It's still with me. I take a step forward, breathe deep. I'm not gonna keep it like where it's just like the same thing and different. I may keep a 1 or 2 words or something the same. I don't know, but I might not, like keep this continuity. I don't know. We'll see. Breathe deep. Yes, I say, and amazingly, my voice is steady despite my crying. Not well done, but that's okay. Despite my crying, take another step forward. Thank you. I say, say, let's say, got some bad news in there. I'll go back and describe the officer later. I nod. I nod. You gonna be okay? You okay? I nod again. Look over the officer. He has kind. He's older with kind eyes. Yes, I say. Yes, I am. And I actually believe it. Now, this clearly needs a lot of work, but, for a first draft, it's not awful, and it's not like the telling part. I think it's better than the telling part, and that's all that matters, right? Is it me? Justin smiles at me. Smiles at me. With such pain. Saddest smile. I don't know. Like it's like I'll go back and fix it later, but I just want to just wanted to give you an example of what it would look like to to show. And hopefully this is me showing more than, what I did up here. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I hope this gives you a real idea of what it looks like to, write a scene where you're showing what's happening as opposed to telling what's happening. Like using words like, my stomach lurches. And just keep moving forward. You can always go back and fix it later. That's what I have to do. So yeah. And I hope it felt emotional and that kind of thing. I'll go back and fix it later and add more to it later. But I hope this is helpful to you. I recently wrote an essay on my podcast. If you go to Leslie Quigless on iTunes or Google Play, that's the name of my podcast. And then you can check it out. It's about my terrible pregnancy. And hopefully you'll see, that's the latest thing I've kind of done. Hopefully you'll see a lot of showing or hear a lot of showing versus telling there. And again, if you have questions or comments or whatever, leave them below. You can also reach out to me here. And y'all have a good night or a good day or whatever. Do keep writing and take care.